Dr. Leye Adigun is a US-based Nigerian billionaire. He is the owner and Chief Executive Officer of Atlantic Treatment Center and Chief Operating Officer at Golden Glades Treatment Center, as well as Adigun Investment Group, with stakes in 9 companies operating in commercial real estate, technology, real estate developer, several e-commerce companies, as well as electric vehicle and renewable energy, among others. The Osun State-born businessman also has business interests in aviation with 5 private planes, a technology company which owns computer software applications, and 6 clinics in the healthcare industry in the United States. In recent times, Dr. Adigun has been investing in the Nigerian economy with interest in the banking and aviation sectors. He is a loving husband and a proud father. Join me as we receive Dr. Leye in the Maker's Church to be a blessing to us as we explore together his journey into business, career, and financial success.
I used to build computers, and that's how I learned in life. That's how I had so much experience in business, because I failed so many times that I've learned. That business failed because of my market. I was only selling to Nigerians only. That was in US. That was my issue. And when I sell to them, let me use you. You're my brother now. You know, I can give you money another time. You know, I will never get the money. Let me use the computer for a few days and see. Within those few days, they already downloaded a virus on it. The computer itself is running slow. I can't, you know, so that's the issue that I run into. And I advise people now, when you get into business, don't target a specific group. The world is so big and also small that you can target the whole world. You create an industry that solves problems. You don't just do it for money. My first clinic, we treat the patient with mental health and substance abuse. They call it methadone clinic. So we have a medication that treats patients that are addicted to opioid. So that specific medication only treats that specific substance abuse addiction, drug addiction. The only clinic in the US at the time, in Florida, where we live, is just one company. And I used to work for them. And I built myself up, became a director, for the program director, clinical director for them. And I noticed the gap. Most of the patients always leave the clinic, treatment. And when they leave, sometimes they overdose and they don't make it out of it. Then I start talking to patients. What do I need? Does the company need to do differently? Where all you guys need to start taking insurance or credit card because it's only cash. You only take cash only. I noticed the gap. I talked to the CEO of the company. I was a very dedicated employee. I was so energetic. I suggested ideas. What about you start taking credit cards and taking insurances from patients? They have insurance. US government have insurance program that is free to pay you for the patient treatment. They say, well, if patient can afford drugs on the street, they can afford treatment. Because insurance takes 30 days to pay, which I understand the business principle of it. They have 30 days to pay. So they say, no, listen, we don't have 30 days to collect our money from government. So, but people are dying from overdose. So I was like, you know what, let me just open my own clinic and take insurance. So I just opened my own clinic right across the street from them.
You were able to find the gap?
I found the gap, the missing gap. Then I opened the clinic across the street from them, and then I started taking insurance, taking credit card, and the patients start coming. You know, they start coming to me. And then that's how I was able to make the first clinic successful.
Please let's put our hands together for him. All right, I want to ask from what you said earlier that we should not target a set of people to sell to. We can sell. How can we actually consider the fact that we are Nigeria? We have a lot of things that is working for us to get that. How can we sell to, for example, I'm in the States now. Apart from the internet,
right?
And you know, and I'm starting a business. I'm doing a business. Definitely, it's people around me that want to first reach out to.
Right.
How can we solve that kind of problem? How can we reach out to people, sell to the people in the world? without first selling to people around us? Because it seems to me, it seems impossible.
Yeah. Well, it's not, nothing is impossible in business. I will tell you that first. Nothing is impossible. One thing, I understand that even though you live in one specific country, you can invent a product that will solve a problem in China or in America. I will give you an example. One of the reasons why I came to US is for a meeting.
US or Nigeria?
I'm sorry, Nigeria. One of the reasons I came to Nigeria, I was flying somewhere and I was watching a YouTube video, social media actually, and I saw a guy that was pitching a business idea to a group of people. And I was watching and watching. I noticed this is the accent. They have Nigerian accent. I was like, this got to be Nigerian. So that's what caught my attention. It's called Lion's Den. I didn't know about Lion's Den at the time, but it's like US Shark Tank that we have. I was watching it. He has an excellent idea. He's an electrical engineering guy. He created some kind of, he has to do with the renewable energies and the solar panels and all this stuff. That's what caught my attention. So I happened to Google his name, research, and found his contact, and I contacted. So I actually met with him yesterday to kind of do some kind of collaboration and business with him. He lives in Nigeria. He was able to reach somebody like me in US. So you don't have to be, you can create a product, and it doesn't have to be a product. You can create anything, any business idea, and reach somebody out of it. We live in the modern age now where there's social media everywhere, internet. You can reach you'll be surprised how many people you can reach. So you don't have to target Nigerians only. You can reach everywhere in the world with your business idea.
Let's put our hands together. Let's celebrate. All right. You said you were watching the YouTube, and that's why you discovered what brought you to Nigeria for business. Did you discuss business with him before coming?
Yes, I reached out to him first, talked to him. I told him where I found his information about him, and I saw the video, the pitch. They didn't invest in him. So they gave him credit. This pitch was excellent, the product was excellent, but they didn't invest in him for other reasons. But I told him that that's what I got his information from and all this stuff, and able to.
And you want to invest in him?
I want to invest in him. I was very interested in him. I flew to Nigeria just to see him. So.
Now, I want to bring. You remember the Lions? The Lions. How many of you remember the Lions? The first service, I was always bringing the video to play, and the Lions did not invest in the guy, but he saw the video. Now, most times, disappointment is not disappointment. Some disappointment are visibility. Now, what he came into the country. I'm still going to go there. He flew into the country with his own. He came with his own private jet, with his family, with security and all that. Left the comfort of United States of America to come and invest in someone that some people did not believe in. Because they don't believe in you, it does not mean that God and the world does not believe in you. The only way you lose it is when you don't believe in yourself. He left because he saw a video on YouTube. How many of you have given up on putting videos on YouTube? How many of you are tired of putting your product on social media? Some people, even your target, are not watching, are not listening to you, they are not interested. Does not mean that someone else will be interested. And that is the same way. I'm a pastor, I want to pray for you right now. That is the same way. Someone from any country all over the world, I don't know whatever you are doing, God is going to call their attention to your business, and they will come in the name of Jesus. All right, I was amazed when you told me the story how he got your private jet. Because I used to think, when he first got his jet, I was like, I I said, Leye, how did you do it? Jet, Jet used to, well, not use, yes, before, it used to be like the kingdom of heaven has come to earth before you can own a private jet. So when I saw her the private jet, I said, Leye, come on, this guy have gone. Oh. But when he was sharing with me how he got his private jet, okay, before I got into that, we discussed something about Nigerians and the Jews. And I had said, what is different from, what does the Jew do differently that Nigerians do not do?
Well, one thing I know about it, most of my business partners are Jewish in the U.S. Very smart, business savvy people. And then I always, I look at their life, the lifestyle. A couple of instances, we just in a restaurant, and they run into another Jewish, maybe a child, someone that worked in the same restaurant. When they notice he's Jewish, automatically this is my card. Call me. They'll find something to do with you. And the difference compared to Nigerians is that we don't like to see each other grow. And it's not just Nigeria here, Nigeria and US. I mean, I've been Nigeria in Texas, Florida, other states that I've been in the Nigerian community. We like to, we don't want to see each other grow. And I've experienced so much of it. One of the perfect example was before I opened my clinic, I was working for a state prison. I was a counselor there. And my supervisor there, a Nigerian guy, Sam, he left state and started working for my competitor now. So when he was working for them, he said, hey, listen, what about you apply for this company? They're hiring. I said, okay, sure. I applied with them. They called me for an interview, which I was, excited about. And I told him that, hey, I just did a phone interview. And they said they would send my resume to his clinic, where he was a director then, to his clinic where he was working. So I called, so he said, he checked his email. Oh yeah, it's true, they sent me your resume. Like a couple of hours later, he called me back. The corporate office called him and said the job position is closed, that they have issue with budgets. The position is closed. I was like, that they just called me a few days ago. It doesn't make no sense. So I left it alone. And a couple of days later, it was still bothering me. When things bother me, I don't sleep. I would just keep thinking. So I called the corporate office again, and I asked them, and what happened that the guy that called me for an interview picked up the phone. He said, that's not true. That if there's a cut in budget, it comes from corporate, not from the local director that will tell me. So I kind of understood, oh, another Nigerian that doesn't want another Nigerian to make it. So I left it alone. So I told the guy, listen, I don't even want the job anymore. I don't want to work with someone that doesn't want to work with me. So it's not that serious. So the guy was persuading me, no, I can straighten this out. I said, don't worry about it. You straighten it out, I work for him. I'm still going to be working under him. I don't want to work under him. Then the guy said, okay, well, that's fine. A month later, the guy called me back again. I actually recognized the number. I said, what's up with this guy and this job now? He called me back again. He said, there's another position in another location. He actually GPSed my address. He found that they have another clinic that is more closer to my house. Then I started thinking, why this guy will go that extra mile to start GPSing my address to try to make sure I get this job? There's tons of people that apply for the job. Why me? I said, okay, fine, I will take that job. That's when I started working for my competitor, and I learned the business of opioid treatment. And then, so we don't want, as Nigerians, it happens a lot. We don't want each other to grow. We don't want each other to be better than each other. And what I learned from that was that you don't know who's going to help you tomorrow. It's the person that you didn't help that might end up helping you tomorrow. Because months later, less than a year later, the guy ended up getting fired from the position. My director at the clinic where I was pushed me to get promoted. I ended up becoming the director at his clinic. I took his position. Matter of fact, my second clinic is the building where that the clinic was. Because when I left that clinic, I heard that they moved. When I opened my clinic, I heard that they moved. So I ended up buying the building and putting my second location there. So the director pushed me to become a director. I became a director of that clinic. And when he heard I was a director, was excited for me. He said, listen, his wife needed a job. His brother just came from Nigeria and they needed a job. I gave them a job there. They were working for me for a few years actually after that. And they were one of the best employees. People will ask me, why did you employ anybody that had to do with him? They didn't do anything for me. He is one that did something. So I didn't have anything to do. And they happened to be the best employees there.
So the Jew, they always want to bring other Jew up. I think you mentioned something, you used the word, you said unity.
Yeah.
Unity. Now, I want to also say this. One of the things that is bringing businesses down is because we want to do it alone. We don't want to carry anyone along. He mentioned to me one of those conversations that you don't do any of your businesses alone. You have partners, and he said what he said now, that in a restaurant, if a Jew should sit someone, okay, saw someone, no, you should not be doing this job. We can get something better for you. If a Jew is living in an environment, in a place, you can be sure there are many Jews living in that place. I want to use that to tell us this morning that unity is not only for church. Unity is not only for God or for your belief. It can advance business. It can. There's someone beside you that is sitting down there that has an idea that does not have money to fund, and you have the little that you can use to fund it. Don't think because he owns the idea, I don't want to fund anybody's idea. Unity is a God idea, and it's used for elevation and promotion. So let's take that. I got that lesson very well. Nigerians and the Jews. The Jews are operating under a covenant, and Nigerians are operating under a covenant. Let's leave that. Let's put our hands together for Jesus. Now, I want to see how you bought those jets from one plane to 2 to 3. Bro Omo, I told Bro Omo to do research and put things together, and he came. He said he has 4 private jets. I said no. Leye that I know has 1. So I was thinking, where did Bro Omo get his own? So when I was telling him that, they told the person I asked to research said you have 4, but I was thinking is why. He said no, it's in 5 already. Then I knew I was the one that was not updated. So I asked, how did you get those gems?
Well, one thing in business is that they say when one door opens, multiple doors open also. One thing I noticed is that most of my business partners and also people that I've met through them, which is other Jewish, they fly private everywhere they go. They always fly in private jet. Sometimes most people that fly private jet don't own one. They don't own one because it costs about the smallest about $350,000 a year to maintain one plane. And so they don't fly often. Maybe they fly once or twice a month to out of the country or within the state. And so I started talking to them. Like, listen, if I buy my plane, will you rent from me? So of course, we have business together, or I know you through this other Jewish person, this and that. So they said, okay. I talked to a couple of people, maybe about 10 of them. And they say, of course, they will rent from me. Okay, then I draft a contract, which I didn't need to pay a lawyer. Draft a contract.
You didn't need to pay a lawyer to draft a contract.
I drafted a contract, and I said, okay, you rent from me, guaranteed this amount of time. And I know that is enough money to cover the expenses of the plane. So I have like 10 contracts lined up. And I walk up to a bank. I said, listen, I have these guys that will rent guaranteed. A lot of them are very well-known name in US, and as in people that are in business moguls in US. So the bank, all they have to do is do their due diligence, call those people, saying that is this contract legit, this and that. They say yes, and I get approved the loan. The bank are in making money business. They know they will get interest if they give me loan to buy the plane, and then they also know that these guys are going to pay because of their status. So the smallest plane in US to fly one way, US private jet is one-way business. You only fly one way. You have to pay to fly back if you want to. And the cheapest one, the smallest plane, is about $40,000 just for like an hour or 2-hour trip. So then I bought and I got a loan. I walked to where they sell.
I want to get that straight. You spoke to your business partners,
right,
that if you buy a plane, will they rent from you?
Yeah.
And they said yes. And you drafted an agreement.
Right.
You took that agreement to the bank to get money to buy the plane. Is someone with me this morning?
Money.
Did you get that? He gave them an offer, and he drafted an agreement, and he took that agreement to the bank, and he got the plane. So how did it now become 5?
So we bought the first one. They financed 100%. It was like little over $2 million. So they financed 100%. And then the money I'm making from renting it out to them, I'm just pouring it inside, paying off the loan quicker, so that I don't have to pay the interest rate, much interest rate. So I'm just paying it up. I'm not the kind of person that live life which, like, some people will see me in US. Are you sure you're Nigerian? I say, why? Because if you're Nigerian, you have this much money, you're supposed to be living life. Large.
You're supposed to be balling.
You're supposed to be balling and supposed to be doing this. My wife complains about it all the time. Anytime you see me outside at my house, always t-shirt, flip-flops, and shorts. Very simple. So the money I made from the first plane, I used it to pay off the first plane, the loan. When it's paid off, I use the plane as a collateral for the second plane. And I keep using it and building.
Do you get that? Tell somebody beside you it's not difficult to make it. Tell another person it's not difficult to make it. Tell somebody, say it's not money you need. You need idea. You need offer. You need IQ. Let's put our hands together for Jesus. Hallelujah. He used the first plane as a collateral for what? The second one. Okay, the journey continues.
Then that's how I continue building and building. Pay off one loan and use the next plane as a collateral for bigger and bigger. I started with the small plane. It's an under jet. The car manufacturer. Matter of fact, that's one of the first plane they made. It's very small, 6-7 passenger plane. We can only go up to 4 hours. So it's about between 40 and 50,000 to rent it per trip. So pay off that quick, and then bought another one, Challenger, Bombardier Challenger. It's about $6 million. Then use that loan, pay off that one to fly a Challenger. That one can go international. It's a much bigger plane. You can go international. To rent that one is about $60,000 per trip to wherever out of country they're going. So it's more bigger money, more bigger revenue, and able to use it to pay off the plane and move on until I bought a Gulfstream, which is, they call it Rolls Royce of the plane. The Rolls Royce they build the engine, so able to use that. Yeah, that's it.
Please let's put our hands together. Are you seeing what I'm saying? Nothing is impossible in business. So, those people that you are looking at, that they have big money before they could put big ideas and put businesses together. They only have big brain and big ideas. And that's what we are getting this morning. I shared with you some years ago, when I have money and I don't know what to do with the money. Money is not the problem of many of us. We don't even have an idea of what to do with money when we have them. And if you can't do business without money, you can't do business with money. This buttress that point I used to say, he doesn't have the money for the plane, but he has the people. there are people around you that are seated around you that are actually sit down to agree with you on a particular venture that will give you money. Master Smith and Ronke, we were in a meeting at Marriott. I want to use that to portray. There's a guy called a former MD of a mortgage bank was sharing this story with us. That this guy, please, I may not remember very well. Please just remind me. He's an architect. His name is Wale or something. Is it Wale or what's his name again? So he went to a family on the island that wanted to have land, and he told them that he wanted to get their land. They were to sell 1 million naira per plot, and he offered to pay 1.5 million naira per plot. And you wonder, why would you want to pay 1.5 for a 1 million naira? Now, because he was not going to pay them immediately, he was going to give them an offer. So they agree. How many acres of land? Can you remember? I can't remember. So he took the agreement to, is it Shell or Chevron? To Chevron. To tell Chevron, I have this land. I'm going to build so number of units of houses. And if you can sign that your staff will buy it, I will get a mortgage for them. I think about 200 units of houses. And they are agreed. So the agreement was what he took to First Bank to get loan to pay part of the land. Now, in our First Bank, he now took what he got from First Bank to a mortgage bank. To the Chevron Cooperative, they are buying 200 units of houses and this and that. So I want to get mortgage for them. Now, the mortgage he got for them was what he took to Shell to go and tell them, I have another 200 units if you buy. Now, what cost him was his transport? It was just his transport. So that's a business principle I got from Dr. Leye this morning, and also got that. You don't need money for everything. Tell somebody, say, you don't need money for everything. Say, I don't need money for everything. Yes, even one of us, some of us have shared a testimony with me how they got and they're doing great things. Oh, that's beautiful. Please, let's put our hands together once again. Now, what advice do you have to give to us in Nigeria now? Because the environment is still easy to do business. And as a businessman, unfortunately, people are leaving Nigeria to go and work in America. People are coming from America to go and do business in Nigeria. What do you think? What do you think? What advice can you give to us?
Well, one thing about being a business person is that you have to be determined. You know, you have to stay focused. I'll share one example. I remember my first clinic, when I first applied for the license, my first clinic, the license was denied. I have an investor that spent over $300,000 on building the space already. We applied for license and they denied it for other reasons. Because my competitor now, they pay lobbyists to put rules in place to block people from coming in. I didn't see that up front. I did everything right but that. So they denied it. The investor said, listen, I'm backing away. I'd rather back away than to be paying $10,000 a month on rent and paying lawyers to be trying to challenge the rules, to change the rules. Which I understand. You already wasted over $300,000 already. The lease is on my name for the space we rented. So at that point, I can give up. The state has already said, no, they're not giving me license. There's no way of me challenging. I don't even have money to even challenge the state to get a lawyer. At the time, you know, I needed it. I needed it because my marriage at the time was failing. And my ex-wife then told me that, listen, you need to go learn a trade or something. All these business, over 20 businesses that have failed. And some of them, most of it was our money that I used.
You use your wife's money.
We use our money. I was very persuasive. Like, this is going to make it. I believe in this idea. I was very persuasive. And then she gave up. She said, listen, I'm tired. And I thought this clinic, the only thing that I think would save everything was now they deny me the license. I started thinking, maybe she was right. Maybe I need to go back to school, do something else. She wanted me to be a nurse. Maybe go listen to her and become a nurse. But I didn't give up. My father always said, so when I was growing up, that I'm very stubborn. That's why I had a hole in my hair. Sometimes the stubbornness pays, because stubbornness make you do what you want to do. And that's pushed me, like, I'm not giving up. I look at my bank account. It was $36 in my account.
$36.
$36. And the state capital, which is called Tallahassee, is like about 5-6 hour drive. That $36, that was like almost 10 years ago now. That $36 will take me there and bring me back to buy fuel. Or I can wait till Friday, the payday. When I get my paycheck, then I can go. When I thought about it, every second count. I know I can't sleep at night if I don't get it done. And I can't wait 2-3 more days not to sleep. So I was just like, I will take that chances and just go. It was on Tuesday, so I left on Wednesday morning, drove there with the hope that maybe I will convince somebody. But I'm 100% sure that it's impossible for me to convince somebody in the state to approve a license. It's just ordinary me. I'm not going.
It's impossible to convince someone.
I just know it's impossible. That was what's in my head. But my mind would just say, just go. You don't know. What you don't know, you don't know. When people tell me that, oh, it's impossible, how do you know it's impossible? Have you tried it before? So I drove there, I went there, I got there, I met the licensing specialist that sent me the letter that was denied. It was an older white lady. She said, do you know why there's only one clinic in the whole South Florida for over 30 years? He said, because the lobbies, the owner of that clinic was paying people for other people like me not to come up. So, but she said, listen, I'm actually glad you came today, because she's retiring on Friday. They are doing the retirement party for her on Friday. If I have showed up on that Friday, I wouldn't have seen her, because that's the day of the party. So she was happy that I showed up early. Imagine if I waited up for my paycheck to come on Friday, I wouldn't have met her. And she said she's retiring, so she will help me to get licensed. She showed me other ways I can get that license. And she was able to approve my license and move forward. But that's how I was able to open my first clinic. So imagine if I did not follow through,
Hallelujah. She was retiring on Friday. So she does not need to be fired for approving so she's retiring now. She approved the license and she retired. Okay. Somebody that is about to retire will approve your license. You don't get it. Somebody that is ready to give way will give you way in the name of Jesus. So don't give up. Don't what? Don't give up. Don't give up. If you believe in your dreams, you believe in the vision, just follow it. Even if they say it's not going to work, just make sure it works. Hallelujah. What is your motivation to investing in? I remember, if I get it right, was it 2020 that you told me a story that you wanted to get an apartment, and they said the person that owned the apartment is a Nigerian that owns a bank. And you said that you are going to own a bank in Nigeria. Now, do you have does things like that motivate you to take risk into investing in business?
Actually, only the business is a risk itself. It just has to be a calculated risk. You know what people don't know is that you will lose more than you gain in business. But when you gain massively. So that's different. My motivation in investing in getting into banking was I invested in a townhouse in Miami, and when we're closing, because I got a loan, it was $12 million loan. When we're closing, the lady said, Oh, you're Nigerian. I saw your name. You're Nigerian. Are you paying cash? I said, why would I pay $12 million cash for a property? She said, because the person that owned the penthouse above me is a Nigerian. I said, in this Miami, I know there's no Nigerian that can pay $33 million cash. So I want to know who this person is. He said, because of confidentiality, I can't share with you, this and that, but I can tell you he owns a bank in Nigeria and he doesn't live in US. So, okay, owning a bank in Nigeria, how did they make money? Now, I left Nigeria since 96. I don't know much about Nigerian banking or anything, but I just read about it. I learn. That's another thing in business is that, you don't have to be your field. I did accounting in school. I switched to psychology. So I don't know anything about engineering. I don't know anything about anything, but I have business in IT, engineering, in banking. So that's when I started reading about it. Through that process, I found out that Polaris Bank want to sell 80% of their bad debt, which was loan that was collected and couldn't get back.
Okay, Polaris
Bank. So I connected to, I think it's called AMCO. It's a CBN. AMCO.
AMCO.
Yeah, AMCO. Yeah, I know it's a government agency that tied to central bank. So I contacted them and they gave me the rundown of Polaris Bank, and then we started the process to acquire this 80%. The thing about me is that I like majority share, and I learned that from the Jewish people. They like control of the company. If I'm putting my money, I want to be able to control it. I trust my decision. I don't trust other people's decision with my money. So I want majority share. And the guy said, okay, you can move forward. These are the documents. Send us your Nigerian passport data page, the style of that process. And I found out that, your Nigerian passport is expired since 90s. I said, I left Nigeria since 90s now. What difference does it make? I'm Nigerian. And they were giving me problems, always one thing to another, and the guy called me. He actually flew to Maryland, and I met with him. It's a Yoruba guy. He said, I will tell you the truth. There's tribalism in Nigeria. He said, Polaris is owned by a certain tribe. They would imagine a Yoruba man trying to buy into a tribe that is not Yoruba, that they won't allow it. That's why they're giving you problem. If you want a bank that is owned by Yoruba, this is the banks you need to buy into, but they don't have majority share. So that's how I was able to get into Nigeria. And through him, I was able to get into Fidelity Bank.
Okay, Fidelity eventually got into Fidelity Bank. Wow. Now, what we are sharing this morning are principles, and it's using a story to teach us those principles. It's not the principle, it's not the story of Paul, it's not the story of Peter, it's not the story of someone that is in America, or it's a story. That's why I wanted him to use his story to drive home some principles of business, and that makes it business work. Many of us don't get motivation and don't learn from other people's success. Because someone wanted to pay and someone was told that the owner of that place has a bank. So instead of me saying, all these foolish people, greedy Nigerians, they are thieves, they have stolen all the money, to come and buy a house and begin to abuse them. Many people have, why many people are not using cars? They have abused the car owners before, so they don't deserve it. They have abused them. But instead of that, he got an idea, an insight, just like I was teaching mind therapy on Tuesday. He got an insight, an idea that I have to do this, and he got into it. What are you learning from? What is instructing you? Whose success is giving you the inspiration to succeed? You need to understand that. And these are the things that brings business together. Before, I'm still waiting for your questions. You have questions. Before I pick up questions from that, I want to ask if you want to invest in business or people. We have business owners here. We have business that are doing well. What is the What are the qualities? What do you look out for to invest in business? If you can come all the way from America, someone that you don't know, you just saw on YouTube, and what are the qualities? What do you look out for to invest in people's business?
One thing I do look out for is I look for something like I have to see myself in you when I was building myself up. And I know what I went through. I know what I had in me. And I know, the kind of person I was when I was building my company. So I try to look for that. I have an investment group that, so I listen to a bunch of pitches all the time, business ideas, and people invest in your personality, not your idea. Anybody can come up with an idea.
I want you to say that again.
But people invest in your personality, not your idea.
People invest in your personality, not your idea.
So your idea, anybody can do it. There are a lot of smart people and I've met so many smart people and genius. It's a personality that will push you to make that business successful. I've invested in people that their personality is not great, business failed because of their personality. Because your personality is what will make the business successful. One example I remember was, and also, this also showed that you can't do it by yourself. There's always going to be God supporting you. It doesn't even matter how much you believe in God or not. When I was building my first clinic, my ex-wife left me, my brother passed away, I lost my job in prison at the time. So I was like, and I used to sing in choir back then. So I left church because I was like, what else do I have to lose?
What else do you have to lose?
What else do I have to lose? My pastor, music pastor, everybody calling me saying that, when are you coming back? I said, what makes you think your God is the God? I met Muslims, I met different religions. They said, everybody has their God. What makes it your God? So it's convinced me to come back to church. So I was going through that phase, but at the same time, I noticed God was involved through. One example I could use was one day I was driving from my company I was working for as a director, my competitor now. And I applied for one of the licenses I applied for my clinic. It's called DEA license. Well, it's a federal license. So on my way home, like around 4:30 p.m., I got a call from DEA. They said that we've been trying to reach your company, which the company I was working for, my competitor. The very huge company. They have 100 locations. They try to reach the corporate office, and because I submitted an application for the license. As the director for that clinic, my name is on the license. Then I submitted a new application from the same city, for same county. Lady said, you can't have two licenses in the same county. So first, I know I'm busted at that time. I have to tell the lady the truth. My goal is to open my own clinic. He said, well, you can't apply for, your name is, you have to call your company you work for to remove your name from their license for my application to go through. I still work for them. I'm still getting paycheck from them. I can't call them and say I'm opening my own clinic. They will terminate my employment, number one. Besides that, they will try to block me from opening. I explained the whole thing to the lady. The lady was she was calling from Washington, D.C. And she said, I explained everything to her, like, I need this license. I'm trying to open my own clinic. I need it desperately. She said she understands. And she said that, okay, even though you can't have two licenses, two applications go through, she will approve it and move forward. At that point, I started wondering, why would somebody, and she said, hey, listen, I can lose my job over this, so don't tell anybody. So I was telling myself, why would someone want to go out of their way to help a stranger, put their job on the line to help a stranger? So there's no way that God wasn't involved in it from the beginning.
The G factor. God must be involved. God must what? Be involved. God must be involved. So, people don't invest in your ideas. They invest in your personality. So, who starts the investment? Is it outsider or you? You start investing in what? In yourself. So that it can be investment worthy. So that someone can invest. No wonder I have beautiful ideas. I have good business ideas. But nobody is ready to invest in me because I give up too soon. There are things that don't have to do with business. Maybe you are stressed a bit, and you just, I'm not doing it again, and you leave. Someone is watching you because that personality cannot survive business trials. A lot of things that disqualify us, they are not in the field they are trying to play. They are around us. I learned, early that, whatsoever you do it for yourself. And my mom will always say to me that whosoever sweeps, the floor is clean for the person that sweeps, not for everybody. Those days we try to say, no, I don't want to sweep. All right, brother, come on. And she will just say it. She will say it in Yoruba. And it back ballet for the floor, the ground is always neat for the person that sweeps it. You are not sweeping for anybody. You are not working for anybody. Even though when they are trying to frustrate you, on my birthday, the church came to my house. It was a surprise birthday, and my neighbor came up and started saying good things about me. He said, pastor is gentle. Pastor is very, very gentle. So at the time when he was stressing gentle, I was wondering, am I really gentle? I was asking myself. I wanted to maybe ask my wife. He said, my wife is a witness that pastor is gentle. But quickly, he defined what he meant by gentle. He said, my definition of being gentle is ability to tolerate. I got it. Me and him, we know what we are saying. Imagine somebody that borrow me this thing now, that wants to frustrate you, and you tolerated the person, now giving testimony that you have the ability to tolerate. So if he's an investor, he will want to invest in me because he has tried me. If he was looking for that personality, someone that can tolerate, he wants to invest in me because he has the ability to tolerate. So, people don't invest in ideas, they invest in businesses. Please let's put our hands together one more time. All right, I don't have any question here. In the absence of question, I want you to give the church advice. Speak to the church as someone that have been through poverty, failures, and trials, and as someone now that is succeeding and is making it. What advice, what can you say to everyone here? There are some of us that are on the verge of giving up. There are people they have great personalities that are also hoping that things will work. There are businesses, all right, I've seen one. There are businesses that are here looking for investors. Now, how can people like that get attention of you, someone like you? Although he has said that you put it on social media and things like that. But I want you to give advice to the church. Before you give that, I think questions are coming in now. Please, I'll go back to that. So let me quickly read this question. Now, thank you, sir, for the real life lessons. I am blessed already. Please, sir, how did you meet your wife? How did you meet your wife? And how has she helped you on your journey? How important is it to have a partner that believes in you? Wow.
Well, that's a good question. Before I met my wife, I was married for 15 years. She's from Jos. And we were very young. I think she was 19, I was 20. So we have a 23-year-old daughter and a 20-year-old son. And typical Nigerian, very, believe in education. When we met, she was like, oh, we Nigerians, we either become lawyer, doctor, engineers. We have no other shortcut. And me, the otherwise, she was born and raised in Jos. Me, I was born and raised in Lagos. I was born and raised in Lhasa. So
In
I was
Lhasa. That's where I found my wife.
Really?
In Lhasa Maja.
I was born and raised in Lhasa Maja. So, and I learned business all my life. My parents, I was born into business. My parents had businesses, you know, we always do business. So the other way around, so to her, I was taking one class every semester while she was taking full-time students, and me, I was taking my sweet time in college while she was going through. She became a nurse, a registered nurse. I started making money while I'm still doing hard jobs, trying to do businesses and trying to do different things. So eventually, you know, we got connected to Nigerian community. And then, you know, we have friends that are becoming doctors, that are becoming lawyers, engineers. So the talk of the town is that this Leye is the only one that is refused to take school serious. This Leye is the only one that, you know, doing mediocre job, psychology, accounting. Your age mates are lawyers and doctors, and there's even the one that came yesterday itself, they already become the doctor or lawyer. And I used to tell her that, you know, this is not, I'm a business person. I was raised into business. I would get to a school when I finish school, but it's not for me. So that became a problem within those 15 years, and there's been breakups and makeups, is on and off, on and off. Sometimes I would go to our local college, I even pick up applications to nursing school just to make her happy, fill it out. Sometimes I will pretend like I'm going to class and I'm working on some business, trying to make it happen. She would believe me. When she found out that I was lying, she would kick me out of the house, and I would beg. She would take me back again.
She would kick you out of your house?
Yeah, I always get kicked out all the time. Yeah,
can a woman kick a man out of the house in Nigeria?
No. In America, women have power. Besides, she was a breadwinner. She bought the house, and the Nigerian community says she needs to put the house on her name, because if she eventually leaves me, I can't get half of it. So she
advised her not to put your name.
Not to put my name on the house, so that when she eventually leaves me, I can't collect half of the property. And then, so she didn't put my name on the house. So she owned the house. Her name is on the house. Everything. I'm just there.
The tenant.
I'm just a tenant. That go on and off. So, you know, so over the years, so when I have a brother a year older than me. He went to Oliver too. He moved to US, and he died from a car accident like a couple of months after he came. So that kind of like woke her up that life is too short. I've been stuck with this man for 15 years. I don't want to waste my time anymore because I want to leave. You know, life is so short. So I understand where she's coming from. 15 years is a long time for even for a woman to stay and hope for better. So eventually, you know, she like, listen, move out. She actually packed my stuff and put in my mom's house. You know,
she helped you pack your stuff and put in your mom's house.
Yeah.
Okay, reverse is the case.
So that was when I met my beautiful wife. You know, and in my head, I was like, you know what? She's Igbo. You know, they say Igbo people are like Jewish. They like money. They like to.
They say Igbo people.
They like money.
They like money.
They are business savvy. So when I met her, you know, she has her own goals and dreams. She just moved from Russia. She went to medical school in Russia. She just moved to US.
Besides, she's a medical doctor. Please, let's celebrate Dr. Fiorma. Yeah.
So that kind of aligned with my field. And she has her own dreams and goals she shared. And then, you know, over the time, I start noticing that, you know, she kind of focused more on my dream. Because there will be some meetings, like inspections, like DEA, state inspections, and she will remember. I told her like a week or 2 weeks ago, she will remember that, hey, you know, I saw inspection, you know, it's tomorrow, this and that, you know. I remember there's a very good picture, that old picture of us that she took, like maybe 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning, for getting ready for grand opening the next day. I was cleaning the chairs, and he took the picture, and that picture stuck with me because, you know, I came from a place where my ex-wife did not support my dream for 15 years, and I just met somebody that is brand new, that just believed in me right away, you know, that it's going to happen. And then, you know, that's how we met, and she's been very instrumental, you know, in my own idea, you know, growing and growing and growing from there. Yeah.
Let's celebrate. So it's very important that your wife believe in your dream. I remember you told me that she typed a 400 400 page, Abby?
Yeah, so we have policy and procedures that we have to do, and she was very big, very instrumental in getting, because she was a medical doctor. So the medical component in it. I'm a psychologist. I don't have much medical experience. So with her experience and able to focus, and some of the questions, some of the things in the policy, I might just be asking her without even knowing that I'm trying to gain something to put in the policy and procedures. So yeah, she was.
Praise the Lord. Please, let's celebrate. Let's celebrate. Beautiful. Now, please don't send question again because of time. Now, the next one is, you talk about investing in personalities instead of ideas. Please, what personality is best for successful business?
When I say personality, and when I say that I look for me in somebody, is that the perseverance, the encourage, the resilient, that don't give up. Because I have so many reasons to give up. I could have given up when I got a letter that I won't get a license. I could have given up when the lady called me and said, you can't have 2 licenses. And I said, you know what? I can't convince her. She doesn't know for anybody. I have so many reasons to give up. There's no business that doesn't have obstacles and mountains and fires you will pass through, because that's what makes you who you are. That's what give you, give you the courage to tackle it. If you give up in this one, you jump into another business, you will run into another problem. How many times are you going to give up? That's why I say it's not meant for everybody. It's for 1% people. And, they say, saying that I learned from somebody in the US, that if your dream doesn't scare you enough, then it's not big enough. You have to go after her. Your dream have to be big. When I told somebody I want to open up a clinic, and I happen to be a Nigerian too, that know about the industry, he said, this kind of business is for white people. We are Nigerians. Are you sure you want to do this? This is meant for white people. It's too big for you. And because I'm stubborn, so because he said no, now I have to do it.
Because he said no, that's why you have to do it.
That's why I have to do it, to show that, because, giving up makes you a failure. When you fail and you get up and do it again, you're not a failure. When you stay down is when you're a failure. And I don't believe in failing, so.
I don't believe in failure. I don't believe in failure. Thank you so much for that. Another question here is, okay, sir, how do you balance your expenses with savings and profits?
Well, that's very easy. It's not my job to do, because that's what you have an accountant for. That's the job I think we talked about it the last time we met too, that in business, you have to think big. You can't be a mom and pop store. That's what we call it in US. Me only. I'm the only one that controls everything. I'm the one that do this. I'm the one that do that. You start a business, build it where it's functionable. Hire professionals, people that know how to do the job. Hire them, run the business, focus on other things. When you sit down in one business, your blood pressure is going up. You're just going to collapse one day in your business. So you build it and you move to something else. That's how you build it. You build a corporation. You don't build one small mom and pop store. You build something, have people running it. Because when you're making enough money where the company can run itself, pay employees, and it's making revenue, and pay marketers, that's the job, to promote it and build it and put money from that and put into some other things, and then you grow. When you build the second one, you remove yourself, build something else. And it doesn't have the same industry, build different industry. My fear was with my first clinic, because my goal was to actually own one clinic and make money and sit down. I started thinking, what if people get cured and then my business closed? I don't want to go back to where I was working for people.
If they get killed.
Because you don't know. And those things happen in business. You have to think out of the box. There was a place in Florida that I went to, Jacksonville. I met one old guy. I went to one of those big clocks that move, those tall clocks that move, pendulum clocks. It caught my attention. I just decided to walk into the store because I haven't seen them since I left Africa. So I was talking to him. I said, what it was on sale. The clocks that were on sale. He put for sale outside. I said, why is it shutting down? He says, I've been in this building doing this business for over 50 years. It was an older guy. He's closing because people don't come to buy cloth from him anymore. They go on the internet. They go to China. They go to different places. And I said, give me your business card. He doesn't have a business card. You have to write stuff down. He was stuck in his head 50 years ago. That's where he left his business 50 years ago. He doesn't have a website. He doesn't have a business card. So I can just tell what failed in that business was him. It wasn't the business.
What failed in that business was him, not the business.
It didn't. You have to revolve. You have to go with the wave. We have to go where things are going. Facebook, Mark bought Instagram, not because he doesn't want to, not just because he want to monopolize, because he saw where direction social media is going. It's going away from Facebook. So he moved to that direction. In business, you can't just stay anywhere. So I was thinking that I can't, what people get cured? What will I do? I can't put all my eggs in one basket. So I start putting, the fear of that is what's making me put money in different industries and continue growing. And then, even up to it's like a PTSD that even my wife complained that you always acting cheap all the time. I said, why would I act cheap? I'm saving all my money because I don't want to go back to where I came from, So it's it becomes like a PTSD kind of thing where you don't want to lose your money. The fear of losing your money is what pushes you to grow more and more. And then another thing I will encourage you guys is that you have to think big. Beside my clinic, I'm building a high-rise now in Florida. It's a 52-story building, ocean view condominium.
That you are building?
Yeah, I'm building in Florida. And when I first got the idea, I run it by a few friends. That's too big. Why can't you start with small houses? Even told my mom too. My mom said, why do you want to build something that big? Why try with small houses, apartments? Why do you want to settle for less? And I learned that idea I had a visit to a country, an island called St. Martin. And I met this French guy. He happened to used to live in Miami. He owns a restaurant, sold his restaurant and started building. And he was sharing his idea about being a developer and all this stuff. I don't know anything about building material. I don't know nothing about anything about construction. But learning from him and how he started from restaurant business, and he's the only actually owned a condo in his building called 14 in St. Martin. He said he has the tallest building in St. Martin, which is 14-story building. It's a small island. And his knowledge, what I learned from him, what pushed me, I can do this. Why not? Then I told my assistant, my friends, I said, listen, his name is Stanley. I said, what about we build something like this? I have an idea. And me and my wife, I took my wife to Dubai like a year before, before that. And I saw this building, this three-step building in Dubai. I said, so I showed my friend, what about we build something like this in US, something unique? You have to be different. So he said, well, it's doable. Somebody building in Dubai is doable. So that's what we're building in Port St. Lucie. So he said, well, it's doable. So we started looking for land, place, ocean view. We started looking for land. Land that the real estate prices went up. So we found a land for $11 million, about 6-7 acres, ocean view. And the guy said, so are we going to pay for it? I said, in business, I don't use my money for business.
I want you to say that again.
You don't use your own personal money for business. My own personal money is to travel, take care of my home. I don't risk your own personal money. Either bank, use your bank money, or angel investors, or there are a lot of people out of the country like Russia. I have some money guys. I call them money guys that can call in Russia or Jewish in Israel that they say, okay, what do you need? They send me whatever I need because they know I've invested the money multiple times and I've returned the money back. So I call them. So I have people that I can use. That's like plan B for me because they, when somebody is selling something, everything is negotiable. The guy that is selling the land said, listen, the land has been on the market. I told my partner then, I said, how long has the land been on the market? So why is that important? I said, because that shows how desperate the person is. If he's just got on the market, it's not desperate. If he's been in the market for so long, he's desperate. Oh, he's been in the market for over a year. Okay, the guy there. So we drove to go meet him. The guy said he's actually his wife had cancer, and then he wants to sell the land. I said, okay, what if I give you certain amount every month for a long period of time? The guy said, okay, fine. So we spread the payment around without spending the dime out of our pocket. We spread the payment around, and part of the land is there is a dock there. People that park their boat there, they rent that space which belongs to him. So they're already making money. The line is already making money. It's the money that I got from the rent to be paying the guy every month.
Can you hear that? The money you get from the rent, from the same land you want to buy, is I use it to, oh my God, let's put our hands together. You know, I asked him, he called me last Sunday and I was like, okay, are you coming to church with your crew, your pilot? And he said, oh, my pilot, he went to South Africa, he went to Johannesburg. That's when they chat. Your plane is supposed to be resting in Nigeria now and be paying. But the pilot, the plane is, you see, business, I think, is here. Is here. Every opportunity, if you are not careful, a businessman, if you waste your time too much, he will sell the space you are sitting on and collect rent and use it to pay you. Hallelujah. That's beautiful. Oh, please, let's put our hands together. Oh, great, 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 great. All right. How can someone who has given up already be motivated this time to start up again? That's the next question.
Well, one thing I can tell you about in business is that, giving up doesn't mean that that's the end of it. If I have several opportunities that I've thought about giving up a few times, but something or one thing is always encouraging me to push back and continue pushing. So starting over is not, you shouldn't be giving up. Yes, I understand. There's have to be a reason for it, but you have to get back up. You have to get back up and do it again and do it again and again and again. So I wish there's a timetable where you follow. There's no timetable for it. It's all you. You are the one that make your business successful, not anybody else. No. I tell people that, in business, money is the least of your problem. If you have an excellent idea, great pitch, one thing you have to focus on is that how is my investor going to get their money back? But that's the only thing we care about. How can I get my money back first? Because that's money I don't want to lose. So when you convince an investor that, okay, this is how we plan to get this money back, this is how we're going to do it, they will jump on it. Everybody want to make money. We're not 9 to 5 people that are clock in and clock out every day. So we use our money to make money. So when you, if you fail in one thing, you just get up and do it again and again. You just have to know why you failed the first time. Because that's the lesson you don't want to repeat. Strategize. How can I do it better? Doesn't mean you won't fail the second time. Doesn't mean you fail the third time. At least each time you grow, you learn something. There's a saying by this guy, motivational speaker called Les Brown. He's saying that when you shoot for the moon, at least if you fail, on your way back, you land on the star. So try. If you fail, at least on your way down, you learn something. And that's how I learned so much. I have tons of people that call me to ask me business ideas all the time. What can I do differently and this and that. And they question me, how do you learn so much? When I give them the answer, I said, because I've failed so many times, I've learned my lesson.
Because I've failed so many times, I've learned my lessons. Don't be afraid to fail. Tell somebody, don't be afraid to fail. So lastly, thank you, sir. I'm a businessman running a growing business. The business is just about 2 years old. And I now have an idea to go into another industry entirely, and I've begun to pursue it. However, I'm quite struggling with the ongoing business because the new one is taking my attention. You get that? Although there's a management team in the current business, but I am not satisfied with their work. Is it wise to incur huge costs to get someone who can handle it, even though the business will be struggling to pay the person, or continue to manage the current team until they can handle it successfully? Did you get that? Yeah.
Well, I understand that question because in business, when you start something, it's very hard for you to separate yourself. Even there, anytime I travel out of the country, I'm always looking at my phone. And they haven't called me, because my staff is always calling me to ask questions. And, so I have a very good team now. It takes time to build a team. I also understand that, you watching the finances, sometimes you can't hire certain people just because your money is not there yet. But at the same time, you remove yourself to focus on other things doesn't mean that you're removing yourself completely from the company. You're still there. You're just not there every day. You're still making decisions. You're still advising other staff what to do and still, pushing them forward. But you don't have to physically be there. Not everybody can multitask. And I won't advise it when this is your very first company you start. You have to focus on one thing and make that successful. At the beginning, my focus was my clinic. When it started making money, that's when I removed myself and started putting money into other things. When it can run by itself without anybody funding it anymore. So that's when I can multitask and go into other things. Now I can have 3, 4 huge, massive businesses at the same time. It's like startup at the same time, I'm able to successfully make it happen. But at the beginning, when you don't have it, because it takes time to grow, you just don't learn this overnight. This experience that I have is something that I'm having building from my parents when they have business, what to do and what not to do. Like I was to my mom, for example, anytime I tell her something about a business, she would tell me that do it this way. I said no. Like I wanted to sell one of my company one time. I told my mom I want to sell this company. She said, why? Don't sell it, this and that. I said, I'm not typical Nigerian. I don't emotionally attach myself to company. I just want to make money. So she said, hey, listen to me. You don't listen. Then your father has been doing business before you were born. So she said that a lot. And that's one of the things I learned from my parents growing up. They are mom and pop store. It's just them that run. Even they have several companies. And they hired my uncle was this, my auntie was this, they hired the whole family. And then when my father won a visa lottery, that's how we got to US. And then he died too a couple of months after we got to US. And then when he left Nigeria, he died from cancer. When he left Nigeria, he put all his company to his siblings he hired to run it. That company did not even last. That company actually failed before he even died. So one thing I learned from my parents was, build a corporation, not mom and pop store. It's okay to hire a family member. And one of my nurses that worked for me was my mom's friend. She actually applied online and she came to the interviews. I happened to walk into the clinic at the time.
One of your mom's friends.
Friend from church, from prayer group that she goes to in US. So when I walk in and the HR introduced me to her, oh, this is the owner, this and that, and she's like, oh, you sound Nigerian. I said, yeah, I'm Nigerian. Oh, he said, what's your name? I said, Leye Adigun. She said, oh, are you Mrs. Adigun's son? I said, yes. Oh, that's my friend. She was so excited to see me. My staff hired that because of that. And which I didn't tell them, they hired that. So she called my mama, called me, said, oh, my friend came to your job to apply for a job. Yeah, okay. And next day, she was late to work.
Your mom's friend was late to work. Late to work.
And in my head, because you're your mom's friend, I expect 110% from you. Just because you're family or close family, I expect 110% from you. And the third day again, the second day, she showed up to work. She was late again. So my HR then contacted me and said, this lady has been coming late. That they don't want to write her up because of me. I said, fire her.
Eh?
I told them to terminate her.
Did you fire her?
Yeah. But I expect 110% from her. And they were surprised. And she called when they terminated her, she called my mom. My mom called me and said that, you fired my friend, this and that. I said, Mommy, if you work for me and you show up late, I'll fire you too. And she probably thought I was playing. I was serious. You're supposed to put 110% in my company just the fact that you know me. Although I'm not running a family-owned business, I'm running a corporation. And that's the way I treat it. And even though my mom was laughing, I said, you don't know, I will fire you if you show up late to work. And that's the way I run my company. So.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Leye Adigun. I have a question for you. Have you written a book about your success?
Actually, this is something that people have mentioned to me over the years to write a book. I'm not a writer.
If no, you have not written a book.
I'm not writing a book.
I'll write one for you. That's my whole work. Let's put our hands together. Beautiful. It's nice having Dr. Leye Adigun in our midst. And honestly, it has been a blessing to, we have been discussing, and I just didn't want to hear that alone. And I didn't want him to come and start on the altar and begin to go and research scriptures like a pastor. It's possible when you say you're coming to church to talk, you start going to look for scriptures to back up. I want it raw. Bring your story and let it help people. And I'm sure you have been blessed this morning. Now let's put our hands together. Let's celebrate Dr. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you, my brother. Let's celebrate him. Let's celebrate him. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please go back to your seat. Let's put our hands together for him. Let's put our hands together.